You're listening to the After the Show movie podcast from ascully.com. Your weekly look at movies, video games, and more, brought to you by your hosts, A Scully and Sid Talk. We're addicted to movies. Are you? An apple a day keeps the doctor away, Sid Talk.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's your introduction. Are you going to start every show from now on with a bit of medical advice?
Is that medical advice or just a proverb?
See, people like to think that questionable advice only started with the internet, but an apple a day keeps the doctor away has been around a very long time. So we've always been giving people shaky advice.
It's definitely questionable.
Or what's the word that Seth always uses? Sketchy. It's sketchy.
Yeah.
I don't eat a doctor. I don't eat a doctor. I don't eat a doctor every day.
If you did, maybe you would keep the apple away.
I don't eat an apple every day, and I don't go to the doctor every day, so I'm not sure how credible that advice is.
Right. What happened if you would eat a Batman a day? See that link?
You're bringing it around.
All right, it's Saturday, June the 4th. This is After the Show. We're a movie review podcast, and on episode 739, we're looking at the movie The Batman. It's a 2022 movie. It's out now on streaming, Blu-ray, and 4K, and DVD. DVD, do you remember that one? It's on that too.
I do.
It's rated PG-13, and our friends at Warner Brothers sent us the 4K disc for review. Sid Talk, can you give us the synopsis of The Batman?
Yeah, but is it on VHS?
Not on VHS yet.
Is it on Laserdisc?
No.
See?
We could petition for it to be.
We're very old. We know all the things. It's Batman. Bat guy dressed in an outfit. Doesn't call himself the Batman till later. And he fights crime. He's a vigilante. The city is a cesspool of shit. And there's sometimes a little bit like, what's this? Who's this? Why is this bad guy doing this thing? Or whatever. It's all the, it's one of those. And then he kicks some ass. And there's a Catwoman. And that's it.
You'd have to be living under a rock to not know the Batman. So here's the official synopsis. When a sadistic serial killer begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the hidden corruption within the city and question his family's involvement. What did you think of The Batman?
I enjoyed it. The end.
The end of the podcast. We enjoyed it. The end.
I mean, I won't say always, because I've probably forgotten ones that I haven't thoroughly enjoyed, but I like a good superhero movie. I like, a bit of like grunge. The world of humans is shit, and we've just got a few people who want to stand up for what's right. I like that. I like that it's not a origin story. Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah, it's not.
No, he's a fully established vengeance is what he is. Vigilante guy. We just kind of step in. I enjoy it. I enjoy, like, the look of it. This one looks really good. I don't like the grumbling of the voice still. It really irritates me, but I got over it. What I think is sometimes the story of the corrupt police and the corrupt DA and the corrupt city and the city's run by crime lords and all that, it's a bit stale for me. I feel like it's from 1950s and 60s comic books, which...
It is.
It is. And it seems like, aren't there better ways to deal with this kind of corruption than like one guy who wants to go out and beat people up when they're robbing stores and whatnot? Like, I feel like... And then when you're trying to tackle it, they pose it in such a way. They've written every single one of these stories in such a way that it is actually impossible, right, to bring down the corruption in this city. It is impossible.
Yeah.
She has it right when she's like, the city will never change because it is a zombie apocalypse, essentially, of morality. Like, it's all just eaten up and decayed, right? you'll never fix this city. So in that alone, I'm always like, okay, you're spinning your wheels. You get rid of this bad guy and there's another one. You get rid of this bad guy and there's another one. So it never feels satisfying because I'm not the big action person. I just like the story.
Interestingly, this movie is not full of action.
I mean, it has quite a bit
It
of
has
fights
some
and
action,
stuff.
but it's less than like the other Batman movies. It's more him being a detective and trying to figure things out. There's a lot of him
I disagree with that. There's like 3 times when he's trying to solve a bit of a puzzle, not a puzzle, but just decipher some encrypted stuff. It's not like he's really on a case. I know you said that, but it didn't jump out at me like that at all.
It felt like that to me, like they were going more for the trying to piece together the mystery. And when it does go for an action sequence, it's really grounded in this movie. There's even a car chase that is not ridiculous. It's not like Fast and the Furious. There's no car flying off a bridge and landing on its wheels. It's all...
It's not realistic.
Realistic physics.
The
cars are very realistic. Everybody's in like a real car.
I don't think it's realistic that 2 cars can be speeding down a busy highway going the wrong way, and car number 2 can just keep speeding, and then car number 1 gets stuck, and then car number 2 doesn't catch up. It's very unrealistic. I don't know what you're talking about.
And other parts of the movie, we'll just disagree. Other parts of the movie that are realistic to me is everything. There's a bat suit that is like a wingsuit that you can fly with. But it's not really flying. It's more like falling in a controlled manner, right?
But the thing is, where was that suit tucked away? Because it's like inflatable.
Yeah, well...
He pulls a thing, and all of a sudden he's wrapped up in this inflatable raft thingy.
Basically, it's like the outside of his normal suit. He pulls a thing, and then it...
Is it?
He's got a lot of money. He makes all kinds of shit.
True, but I'm just saying, like, it also doesn't feel based in, like, a real reality. His suit is very cool. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
It seems very heavy. You know when they focus in on his footsteps? He's added about 250 pounds of gadgets and metal and armor and everything else. And just imagine how heavy that thing is, because it's like sturdy. You know, he like knocks people over with just with the forearm, and I mean it's hardcore,
and it can withstand machine gun blasts.
Correct. So I felt like his suit was pretty awesome for sure.
That's what I liked about the design of this. The suit was really cool. The car, his Batmobile, is not over the top Batmobile. It's like a souped up car.
Okay, again, we're gonna have to disagree.
His bike is a regular bike.
His car looked like a whacked out, futuristic cartoon car. I don't know why you think it looked like a normal car.
It looked to me like a stock car, like Demolition Derby kind of, but posh.
Oh, I disagree again.
It had its exoskeleton on the outside, like its roll cage, and from the front it just looked like a muscle car.
Oh, I disagree. It had like crazy wingy things for its like eyeballs.
It had Batman accoutrement.
Yeah, it did not look like a normal car.
But it looked realistic, is what I'm saying. Like the Tumbler in the last Batman movies. Nobody rides around on the street in a car that looks even remotely like that. This car could get away with just being a souped-up car. Also, his motorbike is it's like a legit motorbike, but it's painted black that he's riding on at the end. I mean, it's not crazy. So, the kind of grounded Batman, I like that a lot. He didn't have, like, loads of gadgets either. He didn't have super hearing or any of that stuff. They got rid of all that, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, in the Nolan movies, he had so many gadgets. He had the one that he could hear, the night vision one. He had all kinds of stuff.
Right.
In this one, he barely had anything, really. Can you think of a gadget that he had? Maybe he has a grappling hook.
He has the thing he sticks in his eyeball.
Oh, he does,
camera, and he has a
eyeball camera.
Yeah, like a contact lens that's actually a camera, and it can gather details about a person, facial recognition, and who they are immediately upon looking at them. So, yeah, that's a gadget.
That's Mission Impossible style. Yeah. So I liked all that about it. It felt a bit different to other Batman. Batman, is that right? There have been many Batmen. Only one Batman.
But see, that's the question is, are they Batmen? Is it Batmen, plural, or is it Batmans? Because there's actually only one Batman.
Yes.
You don't say there's like Supermen. You'd be like, there's been 7 Supermans.
I think the title of the movie's correct then. The Batman.
Correct.
Yeah, there's just one Batman. But I liked the whole vibe of it. I know what you're talking about with it's a very political kind of, it's not super complicated, but it's like a cookie crumb thing. This goes from one guy to another guy to another guy, and eventually you get to who did it, right?
And it's like the old fashioned, like a guy wanted to be mayor and he couldn't be mayor because some scandal that isn't, I guess by today's standards, wouldn't seem to be a scandal. And then somebody gets murdered because of that. And then you owe the big crime boss, and the crime boss then starts paying off everybody. And it just felt...
Then the police get involved and they're all
That's
corrupt.
what I'm saying. They're paying off all the police is what I'm talking about. So but it all seemed very, like comic booky or old-timey radio shows and old-timey TV kind of a storyline.
I mean, it's literally ripped from like an old Batman comic. All the Falcone and all these people are, reprising their roles from other Batman things.
Mm.
There are a few surprises in this one, I found. One involving Catwoman, but I won't say what the surprise is, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And Catwoman, I liked how she was handled. I mean, most people coming into a Batman movie, stuff. I mean, they didn't even have to explain who she was in this movie, did they? He just said, you've got a lot of cats.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, right? If you had never, and I try to approach these things because I've never read a comic book about Batman or any of these other superheroes. I have seen the movies, but you shouldn't have to rely on that, should you, to understand the story. In
this one, he's spying on her. She puts on a black outfit. There's cats all around her legs. So immediately you just put two and two together and go, oh, there's Catwoman. But you're right. If you've never ever seen Batman, he never says she's Catwoman either, does he? And she never says she's Catwoman, so you might not know who she was. But that's got to be very few people, right?
I don't know. I mean, in the world, there's probably a lot.
True. So let's move on to the cast. We don't want to spoil the movie. I think it does have a satisfying conclusion and a big kind of superhero-y. It's kind of grounded, this movie, like I said to you. There's a lot of just downtime in the beginning of the movie, don't you think? Like character development, let's say.
A little bit.
It's not full of action. But then there is a big action thing, which I quite liked. I didn't expect what it was, did you?
Ooh, I'm not sure which thing you're
Boom.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that was coming.
If anyone didn't figure out what that little clue was about.
It could be small, could be big, there's a variation on a boom, right?
Oh, true.
And this one was quite a big variation on a boom, so I didn't expect that. I actually thought it was quite well done. There's a scene in this movie which I loved where Batman and the Riddler are stood in the same room essentially, but with a piece of glass in the middle.
Who are we talking about? You haven't even mentioned this guy yet.
Well, I've not got to the cast, but the Riddler is in this movie. I mean, if you look at the poster for this movie and look inside Batman's eye, there's your clue. But there's a scene where the Riddler is talking to Batman, and I thought it was exceptional. The acting on it, the whole thing was amazing.
Well, that's because you love that guy.
I do, and I actually loved Batman's reaction to him. That whole conversation was, I don't know if it's 5 minutes long, but it's this whole confrontation, basically, but they've got a piece of bulletproof glass between them. Each one's got their own motivations, and the speech from good. Mr. Riddler was great. It was just I wasn't expecting that level of acting at that point. So let's move on to the cast. Robert Pattinson is our new Bruce Wayne / the Batman.
And what did I ask you?
You asked me, was he a vampire?
I said, did Batman used to be a vampire?
And I said yes. but no. Yes, Twilight's Robert Pattinson is, you know what? I really love him as Batman, the Batman.
I thought it was really good. I mean, he's moody. It kind of reminds me of The Crow sometimes.
Yes, it does.
You know how he's very moody and sort of it's very emo. He's broken. He's a broken guy. He's probably still languishing from the death of his parents, and he's rich, and they make it very clear he's a reclusive. He never comes out. And that's unusual that he's even come out at all. So
yeah, and he barely wants to be Bruce Wayne, does he? That's an interesting thing. He's kind of, I'd rather be Batman because what's the point, kind of. And there's scenes at the beginning where he's talking to Alfred, where he comes across like a brat as well.
Yeah, he's really rude to Alfred.
Yeah. But I liked Robert Pattinson's portrayal of it, because you're right, it's emo.
Yes.
This movie's pretty emo. It has Nirvana on the soundtrack even. It's dark, it's gloomy. But I was kind of hesitant with Robert Pattinson when I saw he was cast as Batman. I wasn't sure, because all I know him from is really the Twilight Things, which we did not watch. But I've seen trailers, obviously. I wasn't sure, but I think he brought it.
Yeah, I liked him.
I even liked him when he was Bruce Wayne.
I will never like the gravelly voice. I don't even understand it. I think it's really
I feel
lame.
like his gravelly voice is easier to understand than Christian Bale's one, though.
True. Very true.
Yeah. And also, when he plays Bruce Wayne, and you know the funeral scene in the middle of the movie, when he's actually being Bruce Wayne, I really liked him in that too. Because you're right, he's just moody. That's what he is, right? His default is moody. But it works well. Zoe Kravitz plays Selina Kyle / Catwoman. What did you think?
The Catwoman.
Yeah, the Catwoman. Everybody's got the.
No, I thought she was really good.
We've seen her before in... What did we see her in? Hunger Games, maybe.
I think she's been in lots of things, hasn't she? Zoe Kravitz?
I mean, she has, but I can't recall anything, which seems kind of rude. I can't remember her, but...
No, I liked her because she's... And they're bringing back what is also a little bit old-fashioned. We're not afraid of sort of like the sexual, lusty, he lands on her.
Flirty.
The flirty kind of sexual draw that they have a little bit. I mean, it's a little modern in that we're not seeing the full, dun-dun-dun, they've become a thing because they've had sex and now they're all invested in each other. It's just this tit for tat, but feeling a little bit older fashioned to me. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it's kind of like Michelle Pfeiffer and, like the playfulness that she does.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. But more, again, grounded is the word, I think. Because she doesn't even have a proper cat headpiece, does she? She has
No, I like it, though.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just a balaclava that's been cut up, maybe? Like, it looks crafty to me. Like
a ski mask.
Yeah, ski mask. So we've got Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon. What do you think of Jeff?
It was fine. He also did the voice, which...
I mean, I think his actual voice is like that.
It isn't. I've seen him enough times.
No?
No, he's not like that, no.
He does it in
Westworld
Westworld
I like him, so.
Also.
He's a bit down, but then again, he's trying to work in a city where everybody's a dickhead, so...
I liked the line where he said, the only person I trust is you, when he's talking to the Batman on top of the thing.
Right.
That's the exact operating mode that he's in. He doesn't trust anybody or anything around him because everything's so corrupt and messed up. But Batman is behind him 100%, right?
And then I don't understand why all the cops treat him like shit, like treat Batman like shit. I don't get that other than
they don't like vigilantes.
I guess.
Because it messes with their corruption, I guess.
Oh. Okay.
You don't want...
I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's it. We've also got Colin Farrell as the Penguin. What do you think of...
I would say a lot of people wouldn't know. I didn't know that was him.
I told you that it was him, and then I knew because I wrote down the cast today. But then I was looking and I was like, yeah, I don't think I would have known that.
No.
Even at the end of the movie, I wouldn't have told you it was. Because it's some really good makeup, because it doesn't look like weird
Very
makeup.
good.
Yeah, it's very good. Paul Dano is one of my favourites from There Will Be Blood. There's a movie for you to watch.
I'll drink your milkshake. I'll drink it down. Or whatever he says. He didn't say it, but...
No, he didn't.
It was said to him. He was like this psychotic preacher guy.
Yeah.
And in this one, he's a serial killer, whatever.
He fits perfectly into this Riddler character. There was tingles down my spine during that thing I meant. The scene I mentioned in the room.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy is an actor. This is good. Like he's even like running rings around everybody here. It's just, this is how you deliver some lines. Yeah, Paul Dano is the Riddler. And he's suitably psychotic, right? Mm-hmm. When
Well, he's broken, right? So a modern thing added to this, because old-timey bad guys, villains, heroes, they didn't have any dimension, right? You were a good guy because you had high morals and you wanted everything in the city to be safe, or wherever you are. If it was a Wild West town or your outer space or wherever you are, whatever your story is, the good guy wants to thwart the bad guys so that little Jimmy can just go to school safe and the guy who owns the store doesn't get beat up every day and the women don't get attacked. That's what it was all about, that one dimension. And the bad guy was just a bad guy with bad morals.
Yeah.
And needed to be shot or stabbed or blown into space or put into prison, right? And there was no dimension. Now you have all the stuff, right? So we have a moody Batman, rich guy. Parents are dead, but now we're questioning the morals of the parents as the good guys he thought they were. The bad guy gives you his sob story, which is terrible. He was an orphan in a terrible place, treated badly, terrified for his life, so he's traumatized. Everyone's traumatized, and this is the result. Bruce Wayne has made choices to try to make the world better, to exact vengeance on everybody. But then the bad guy, because one of the bad guys laying on the ground says, I am vengeance, and the Batman realizes, oh, right. All these villains who want to tear down the city, all they want is to make things right also. That's all I'm doing, right? So the same result is coming from different traumas. That's a whole new thing woven, I think, into stories. You have to accept that the bad guy has a reason.
Yeah.
Now, the Joker, or one of the Jokers, what's his name? With the explosion, that guy.
Yeah.
He got treated badly too as a kid, I guess. Yeah, he got abused by his father. So there's his reason. Everybody has a reason. And now we're finding them out. And then you have to accept for yourself. Right. So do I kind of agree with this bad guy? The Paul Dano guy, the Riddler? Because we know the city is corrupt and he wants to bring the corruption to an end.
Yeah, which is actually a good guy's thesis.
Yes. His method, however, is to kill a bunch of people in a terrible way. Right.
Right.
Whereas the Batman wants to sort of pick off the bad guys one at one. By one, he beats them up. We don't see him overtly killing people.
We see him punching them a few too many times.
Yeah, he gets he has a big reaction.
Yeah.
But so that's a new thing added to stories nowadays where it's called the anti-hero, of course. That's been invented. It's been around for a very long time where you have to be like, oh, my good guy is doing stuff that, he's not lickety split clean kind of guy, but I like that. That's more honest.
I've got Andy Serkis as Alfred. Played a good Alfred. I liked him.
Sure. I mean, it was brief, but...
He's sidelined a bit in the story, let's say.
Yeah.
Do we ever catch up with him again?
No.
No, we don't. He's kind of forgotten. Maybe there'll be another movie. There will be another movie. What am I talking about? And we've also got Peter Sarsgaard as D.A. Gil Coulson. He's not in it a lot, is he? But I do like Peter Sarsgaard.
He does a good job when he breaks down.
Yeah.
He's actually I am so fucked,
This is directed by Matt Reeves, who directed the original Cloverfield, all the Planet of the Apes movies, the latest ones. He did those. And he did the remake of Let Me In, which you've seen the original of.
Yes.
You've seen the remake too, haven't you?
I have not watched it.
All right. So what do you think of Matt Reeves here? I liked this directing. I thought it was very good.
I liked it.
I wasn't expecting how good it looked.
I love the way it looked. It was moody and dark, but like you said, it's not so dark that you're like, what the hell's going on? The car chase scene could have been a little more dynamic with the lighting, but I got it. It was a rainy night, so what do you want,
Yeah. I really liked the way it looked. It feels like it smells bad, that city.
Yeah, it's like it's dank and wet.
Yeah, always. And they don't take a break from it. It's never like a bright sunny day, really.
True.
It's just this grimy, wet, dark. It's what I think, from reading the comics when I was a kid. It always looked like that, with puddles, with reflections on the ground. It was always grimy.
Moldy.
Yeah. IMDb reviews, what are those?
Those are reviews that you find on a website called IMDb. And a lot of people will put in their little 1 star, which pretty much means that they have very brilliant, intelligent observations to share with us, usually in the form of a sentence, not well punctuated and not with excellent grammar. And there are 2 standards that we like to follow up on, or we like to, enjoy every time. One of them is worst movie ever.
Yes.
Ever. Or this movie should never be made. And then there's also the ultimate classic waste of 2 hours / fill in the blank of my life.
Classic.
Like they've wasted the entire time. Instead of like 10 minutes in, they're like, you know what? I'm not into this movie. I know I really enjoy this other movie. I'm just going to go watch that for the next hour of my life. But no. They do it all and then they complain about it, which is hilarious.
First guy says, certainly not the best Batman movie. I'm not sure why this is rated so highly. This is the worst Batman movie ever. I love the Batman trilogy with Christian Bale, but this one was just long and boring.
Long and boring.
This second guy says, we never saw Batman in this movie. I suppose all the other Batmans are crying. That's the whole review, by the way.
We never saw Batman.
In this movie, I guess all the other Batmans is crying.
That's my favorite review ever. I completely don't understand it, which is kind of chaotic. I like it.
And finally, I've never been so bored watching a film. Every shot goes on way longer than it should, making it a slow and boring film. Not to mention Robert Pattinson's boring mumbling throughout the film. There are several points where I was relieved because I thought the film was about to end. Spoiler alert, it never ended.
It never ended. Oh my God.
Did he have it on a loop?
Like it just keeps starting over there like, I'm trapped.
I have to keep watching until it's not on anymore.
That's fair enough. Yeah, everybody has a thing.
There are extras on the Blu-ray. We didn't realize. We sat down, I put the disc in, we watched the movie. It's 3 hours long, the movie, so the movie's just on a disc, and it looked like there was no extras. But then later, when we came upstairs, I looked in the box, and there's an actual separate disc full of extras. So if you love your extras, there are a lot. In fact, there are over 2 hours of special features. So if you're a Batman fan, you can watch how it was made. And it was made during COVID, this movie, by the way.
Right.
So maybe it's got some interesting stuff that they had to do to get it done. I'm going to give this a score. I am giving the Batman, are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. An 8 out of 10.
Jeez Louise. I mean, I'll give it like a 7.4, just because in the league of its own, it's right up there.
You know the last Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix? I would give it as a great double bill with that. Because they're both like in a dark, gloomy place.
Like we're acknowledging that a completely corrupt city is not a funny thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a lot of the
because the end of the Joker is pretty gloomy as well. The city parts.
Yeah, and this one has a similar theme where the villain, we won't say the bad guy, but the villain, the person doing the worst of everybody, rallies support from anonymous people. Lots of anonymous people.
Correct.
Who become extensions of the villain. And because they're anonymous, and there are so many, and it's like gathering a cult of sorts. Again, it's a hopeless situation, right? Just like Joker, that's what's going on. Everybody who's pissed off like the Joker's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm the Joker. Or what's that movie? The old-fashioned one where everyone stands up and says, I am whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Jaws.
No.
Apocalypse Now.
Every shark stands up and puts a little fin out. I am Jaws. I am Jaws. No, I am Jaws. You know what I'm talking about? I am Spartacus.
Spartacus.
I am Spartacus, right? So everybody decides, I'm just as pissed off as that guy. I'm going to, join the party. So that is a theme also that I do like because it's very realistic.
Yeah, I think Joker.
It's scary as hell.
It is.
What's that one movie we saw where
it's very Jaws?
No, it's very insulated. It's a terrible night. Some people are tortured and murdered, and then we realize it's a thing that
The Invitation.
It's I'm sorry if I spoiled that for anybody, but it's got a similar vibe.
How did I know that it was The Invitation?
I don't know, because we've been married too long. I can say things like, that guy in that thing with that dill, and you'll be like,
Jaws.
On a different occasion, that could be correct. It isn't today.
All right. So what was your score?
I told you.
I forgot.
7. You could listen back, but 7.4.
7.4. And mine was 8.
Are you making notes or something?
I am. So thank you to Warner Brothers. Next week, we're looking at a new zombie movie called The Sadness.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know if anyone's ever listened to any of our podcasts before. You will know, or you should know. I'd be very disappointed in you if you didn't, that I like zombie stuff.
I think
the good, the bad, and the ugly. I like it all, except I'm super bored with Walking Dead, so don't even bring that up.
This one's from another country, too, so you might even...
Train from Busan, fantastic.
Yeah, similar type of,
I've watched many that you've not seen that are with subtitles.
I bet you haven't seen one quite like this one, The Sadness, next week.
Oh,
Movie recommendations. I am going to recommend you all 3 of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. The Dark Knight is my favourite one, but I think they're all exceptional. You don't like grumbly, mumbly.
I do not.
The Bane. You don't like
No. I don't like mumbling anything. I don't know what the fuck. What's the point? You're communicating with the world. I don't give a shit if what you're trying to say is like, I am terrible and I'm going to kill everyone, or I am the hero and I'm going to save everyone. I don't give a shit. You have no excuse for mumbling and grumbling.
All right then. And
enunciate.
Talking of mumbling and grumbling, I'm also going to recommend you Robert Pattinson in Tenet, which is also a Christopher Nolan movie. And it was people complained that it had too much mumbling and yeah. But I love that movie because I actually watched it twice and I still don't know what it's about. It's very difficult to understand, right?
That's funny.
I feel like I could keep watching it and maybe get a gist on it, but I don't know what it's about really. And I bet you don't either.
I don't. I'd have to watch it again.
Even watching it again, which I did the day after we watched it, it didn't help me. Maybe it was the mumbling.
But you love the mumbling.
Yeah. So what are your recommendations?
My recommendations are me going back to the 90s. Apparently I was up to the 93s, and now I'm going into the 94. Year 1994, if anyone doesn't know. There was a whole century before this one. It was called the 1900s. We were alive back then. In 1993, there was... I'm giving you like 5 because I'm trying to go through most of my list in this year. So Philadelphia. High quality.
Yeah.
Grumpy Old Men, also high quality. Tombstone, high quality. And Clerks.
Yeah.
High quality of its own genre. Like inventing a genre almost, do you reckon?
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
a Kevin Smith movie. And then in 90... Clerks is 94. And Ace Ventura Pet Detective, also 94. Which, I mean, I don't remember the quality of it, but I know I've seen it. So that's why it's on the list.
I wouldn't call it high quality, but... I mean, I don't even know if it's that funny anymore. Maybe? I don't know.
Are any of them good anymore? Is anything old good anymore? We don't know.
Let's say no. So don't watch anything old.
all of everything is bad.
So A Scully stuff this week. Fortnite, the new season is about to come tomorrow, and you'll be able to unlock the new characters in the season pass, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. So that's pretty much up my street, said Talk.
Yeah.
I'll be playing that and unlocking them. And talking of Obi-Wan Kenobi, we watched episode 3. And talking of Darth Vader, there was a lot of Darth Vader in this one.
We weren't talking about Darth Vader? Just saying.
Well, I was, because he's in Fortnite.
All right.
You're not listening.
No.
So what did you think of Obi-Wan this week?
I loved it. I always love it. I think it's very well done. I just am going along for the whole story.
Yes.
I don't look at them individually. I mean, some of the movies and whatnot have different impacts on me. However, I still look at it as a whole story.
Yeah, Obi-Wan TV show, really like it. It's,
high quality.
Yeah, and they're really playing with the Star Wars lore. Like, they're not afraid of, like, telling the story.
I was going to say, they're not playing with it as in changing it.
No.
They're playing with it as in telling you.
Yeah, and filling some things in.
Yeah.
All right, what's for dinner?
What's for dinner is questionable still at this point. I'm going to try Burger King Impossible Whopper, but the other night...
Tell your story.
Super pissed me off, and it's not rare anymore to be pissed off when you try to go out and get food, which is a luxury, I know, but still. Pulled in, waited almost 15 minutes just to get up to make my order. Made my order. She was friendly-ish, sort of like, made the order. Waited another 15 minutes behind 2 cars in front of me. Coming up on 17 minutes, pull up. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. we only have the one Impossible Whopper, but I can give you a regular burger. Or would you like a regular burger instead? And I was like...
That defeats the object.
Yeah, you thought it was weird that they would offer a regular beef burger to someone who's ordered like a plant-based burger, which I don't even think that's weird anymore. But I was just like, fuck this place, man. I was like, nope, thanks. Just go somewhere else. I've waited long enough. I get very impatient, as you can probably imagine. So tonight we're going to try that again. If it's not that, it'll be Jimmy John's. If it's not that, it'll be Subway. If it's not that, it'll be Taco Bell. I don't know.
Whatever
it is. And the reason we tell you what we eat is because we're vegetarian. And people think vegetarians all are vegan, which they are not, because vegan is a philosophy, not a diet. We're vegetarian, which means we just don't eat meat. We do eggs and dairy. We love plant-based things. We'll try any of the new stuff. We tried the Kentucky Fried Chicken plant-based thing. What did we think?
It was greasy and weird.
It was a little greasy and weird. So, we like our junk foods and our fast foods, but just not with meat in it. So, that's that.
All right, advice, and let's get out of it.
My advice is to listen to people when they tell you how to help them. I realize there are going to be circumstances where some severe help might be in need of to save someone's life and they're trying to refuse you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about things like when someone's having a difficult time with an illness in their family or something like that, and then you say, oh, well, I'll just come to your house and I'll do all this stuff for you. And they say to you, no, thank you. I've got a lot on my plate right now. I appreciate it. I'll let you know if I need anything. But then you insist on going to their house and doing all the shit. You're not actually being helpful. You're doing it for yourself to make you feel like and appear to be a helpful person, which your intentions might be fine. Might be good and that's fine, but you need to listen. So if your friend says, no, thank you, like you don't need to come, you don't need to bring me food, you don't need to clean my house, you don't need to hold my hand, you don't need to come here and sit with me quietly because I've got this. You deciding to override that is disrespectful. I mean, it's as simple as that. You might have the strongest urge to help the person you love, and that's great. But then the better version of that is for you to listen. And if they say no thank you, then that's it. Don't burden them with your desire to look and appear and feel helpful. So there's that.
Well said. Well done. Thank you.
Thanks.
HeyScully.com is the place you can catch this podcast. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram is our social media. We're also on iTunes, Spotify. Where else, TikTok?
All the places. HeyScully.com.
Amazon Music. All those places.
I don't listen to this podcast, so I don't know where it is.
Well, I do. So I'm a fan. We can also email HeyScully@HeyScully.com. Don't email Sid Talk. She doesn't want any of your email. And stay classy, the Batman.
And I'm going to say, think for yourself, or someone's going to do it for you.